Hello, everyone, and welcome to our online session today. It's pleasure to uh, have each of you joining us from different parts of the world. This is Arash Amajani from Vancouver, Canada. I'm a Microsoft MVP and community leader, and I'm going to host our today's session. And thank you everyone for joining us today. So let's quickly introduce our community and the Microsoft Learn Tech community before we invite our special guest Fabio to our stage. So as you see here, we line up for session for the September, and today we will have Fabio with a great session around the Power Platform and the Copilot Studio, and two other sessions that left for this September's are the Power Platform pipeline, how you can launch your Power Platform pipeline, and how to become a business application superstar in 5 steps with the Nicole. So hopefully you also register and join to this two session in the September. And let's talk about a little Microsoft Learn community. So the Microsoft Learn community is a collection of experiences offering learners with a variety of ways to connect and engage with other learners and technical experts to increase expertise and the topics that matter most to learners and achieve career goals. So the Microsoft Tech community also, actually the Power Platform Learner to Leader is one of the Microsoft Learning Room. So we have, actually there are several Microsoft Learning Rooms in the Microsoft Tech community that you can join through the links here, aka.ms/learning rooms, and you can find through all the learning room and join to the learning room and engage and involve with the learn experts in the community, in the Microsoft Learn community. So Power Platform Learner to Leader also is a Microsoft Learning Room, and which has more than 2,000 members. We are sharing the latest information about the Power Platform in our learning room, and also conduct this series of session every Saturday for Power Platform enthusiasts. So if you are not a member of our learning room, so you can use this short link that I put here in the screen, aka.ms/join PPLTL, Power Platform Learner to Leader, and you are welcome, and you can join us to this learning group. And the last slide here is the code of conduct at my end. So the Microsoft Learn, actually the Microsoft aims to empower everyone globally through knowledge sharing and events, ensuring a respectful and inclusive environment for all. Harassment or degrading behavior is not tolerated, and everyone is responsible for upholding these standards. The code of conduct encourage awareness, friendliness, and respect, openness, understanding, and kindness. So before we begin, a few important notes here as ever. If you have any question during the presentation, feel free to type them in the chat box. We will have a dedicated Q&A session at the end, and this session is being recorded for those who couldn't join us live, and will be available shortly in Power Platform Learner to Leader YouTube channel. So without any delay, I'm going to invite Fabio to the stage and to start his presentation. Actually, Fabio is Microsoft MVP and head of the modern work, and he is working around the Microsoft 365 ecosystem and delivering the Copilot workshop and implementing Copilot Studio, AI, everything around the Microsoft AI and Microsoft 365 ecosystem. Hello, Fabio, and welcome.
Hi, Arash. Thanks for having me. I'm really excited to be here.
Thank you for joining us today. And yeah, a stage is yours, and you can start sharing your screen and introducing yourself.
Perfect. So, yeah, thank you very much for having me. I will, of course, do a little introduction of myself during my presentation. So, first of all, thank you very much um, for this great opportunity to be able to um, speak on this in this great community, also to be able to give you some insights around Copilot Studio, around Power Platform. So let's have a look at what is waiting on us today. So first of all, I'd like to introduce myself really quickly so you know who is talking to you today. Then I will give you a quick overview what Copilot Studio is. So I don't know if you have already engaged with Copilot Studio or not. So I want just to make sure that everyone is on the same knowledge level. And then I prepared a little journey that I take you on. It's my personal journey that I started, I think, in March, April, my journey to the low code, no cost solution, as I like to call it. I will, of course, give you a little bit of context why I call it like this. And then I've prepared also a little demo for you on how the Power Platform meets the M365 Copilot through Copilot Studio. And I will also share some possible use cases, really high level, about how you could leverage these services and these solutions. So, quick words about myself. My name is Fabio Bonolo. As Arash already mentioned, I'm head of modern work at TechTask Consulting. So, I am living in central Switzerland. Here it is really cold at the moment, 6 o'clock in the evening, 6 p.m. And as Arash already mentioned, I come from the business side of work, so I'm looking at M365 topics, collaboration topics, especially. So everything around Teams, SharePoint, Planner, OneNote. I do project management, change management, and also governance, collaboration governance, and user adoption. I am, since July of this year, I am a Microsoft MVP in M36 Copilot. As you see, I have here my website where my blog is about Copilot. Which is, I'm really excited about the possibilities that AI at work brings, especially in the Microsoft 365 environment. I am Pro-C certified. I'm a Scrum Master, and of course, since I am doing a lot of work with Copilot with our customers, I've got some certification about being a Copilot champion, so technical champion, sales champion. There are some several certifications that you can do as a partner. I am a speaker and blogger. Again, here, my website, fabiobonolo.com. You can subscribe to my blog. It's in German. So I'm sorry for everybody who doesn't speak German. That's it. But maybe you can translate it. And at the moment, I am also studying for a master's degree in business and IT consulting. So enough about me. Let's dive into the topic with a quick overview and a quick fundamental topic of what Copilot Studio is. So maybe you've heard of it. Maybe you used it already. So the Copilot Studio is the former Power Virtual Agents, if you know that. So it has a similar UI when you dive into it, especially in the beginning. It had a similar UI, and it also inherited many functions known from the Power Virtual Agents, such things as topics or a plugin actions that have been adopted. And what Copilot Studio really is and what it really does is it does integrate external data in some sort of AI agent, bot, or Copilot. We are looking into that shortly, what that means. But this is the big added value of Copilot Studio, that you can extend Copilot, that you can build your own Copilot, your own Copilot. And here in this integration part, we have different approaches, different possibilities, low code, no code, hard code possibilities. That's also a reason why I called my journey the low code, no cost approach or journey, because there are several possibilities that we will dive into. And I already mentioned it a little bit. Using Copilot Studio, there are two use cases. So the first one is to extend Copilot for Microsoft 365. So the standardized Copilot for M365 that you can license for $30 per month. You can extend it. But you can't extend it, of course, when you don't have licensed it. But you have also a possibility to build your own Copilots without going or without leveraging the standardized possibilities and functions of the M365 Copilot. So if you don't know how to get to Copilot Studio, here is the link that I share with you. You can type it in, of course, in your browser. With this, you can open Copilot Studio. It's really easy, copilotstudio.microsoft.com, and you will come directly to the interface of Copilot Studio. Now, enough about foundational stuff. Let's dive in more to the topic of how you can leverage Copilot Studio in order to get Power Automate flows, for example, or in order to extend Copilot for Microsoft 365. Now, there are two ways to integrate data currently. So one way is through Microsoft Graph connectors, and the other way is through plugins. Now, the Microsoft Graph connectors, this approach means that we integrate external data in the Microsoft Search. As we know that Copilot is grounded in Microsoft Graph data, so we can enrich this graph data. What Copilot does is that it communicates with those external sources. So when you think about the architecture, how Copilot generates responses, you put in a prompt, it goes to the LLM, it goes back to the semantic index, and the semantic index goes into the graph to look about the data sources that are in there. Of course, standardized, there are SharePoint data, OneDrive data, etc. But of course, you can also enrich the graph, the Microsoft Graph, with data, for example, from Salesforce, SAP, whatever. And the semantic index of Copilot communicates with the sources. The way how you integrate external data into the Microsoft Graph is through the admin center. So that's why we scoped this one out for today, because we are here in the Power Platform community. So therefore, just for you to know, this is one way to integrate data. But what's more interesting in this context are the plugins, because the plugins work a little bit more differently. So here, the Copilot goes or does the data query directly in real time with the external data sources. And there are different ways to activate plugins. Of course, it would be easy if we just have one way, right? So this is not how Microsoft works. And these plugins can be done in a Copilot Studio, not only, but very, very strong capabilities are in Copilot Studio to use these plugins. Now, that's also the point or the part where we are looking into. Now it gets a little bit more complicated. So because there are three types of plugins. As I said, Copilot Studio is one way to do the plugins or to integrate data with plugins, but there are also other ways. And this is what I want to share with you. So the first type of plugins are the OpenAI plugins. So you have the possibility to integrate Azure OpenAI models and plugins, so large language models, small language models, plugins into your own Copilot, or you can extend your M365 Copilot. This is very much hard-coded. The second one are the Teams message extensions. This is nothing new. It's just a possibility to execute actions, hard-coded actions, with adaptive cards that work with Teams message extensions. They were already there before Copilot. And the third part, or the third type of plugin, and this is what we are concentrating ourselves on, are the Power Platform components. Here we have a variety of different components, but for example, it can be Power Automate flows, or it could be also your connectors, the premium connectors, or also your own built custom connectors from the Power Platform as we know it. So, and because we are here in a Power Platform community, of course, we will dive into the Power Platform components. And now, also here it gets a little bit more complicated because there are several Power Platform components, as we know. So I want to look at two specifics. The first one are the so-called conversational plugins. And what do they do? With conversational plugins, Power Automate flows can be triggered through the conversation. The problem here is in these conversational plugins, these are currently in preview with some limitations that I will share right afterwards with you. So for example, if you want to integrate some data from Salesforce, usually when you want to do it in a secure way, you have to log into Salesforce, you have to authenticate yourself to integrate this data. And when you do a plugin and a conversational plugin, the authentication is not possible. So you have here a little bit of a security risk. This is one limitation of preview. The other one is you can configure some adaptive cards or things like that, but they won't work. So you see it afterwards when I do the demo. You have some actions you can trigger. You have some things you can do. You can configure. You see it afterwards in the UI, but it won't work in the Copilot. And what's the advantages of those conversational plugins? There are no additional licensing costs than the M365 Copilot. So I will show you the licensing topic also in a few minutes. The second one, or the second components, are the AI plugins. And here I want to do some sort of summary because we have a lot of possibilities or a lot of AI plugins. So we have, right now 4 plugin options and different ones, which I will show in the demo. So one of them, for example, are the custom connectors. This is one plugin. But when you want to use these AI plugins, you have to have a Copilot Studio license, which is at the moment a pay as you go or pay per use license. I think it's 200,000 tokens for 50 or 150 euros per month. So something like that. And what I also saw, so I played around a little bit. I wanted to do a Power Automate flow through the Power Platform and publish it into my Copilot. And I saw that you need some AI Builder licenses. So AI Builder credits. AI Builder is built on credits. And this is also what I saw, that it isn't easy to just build a Power Automate flow and then trigger it through a conversation. You have to do it on a separate loop, which I will show you in the demo. This is what I found out. And when we are looking here at the preview limitations, this is the official documentation of the Microsoft Learn site. So you see, it will not be it will not be able to interact with the user. So it is only text. So also the variable, the string that you can configure is only the text to send a response. As you see, there are no media, no adaptive cards that are supported at the moment. Here also, this is something that I came across right today in the preparation of this session. It is here written, and I knew that from a few months ago. The English language it is only limited to the English language Copilots. And configuring such a conversational plugin in a Copilot Studio, I wasn't able to choose the language. But afterwards, in the demo, you will see, and that's what I came across, that as of now, or as of some time ago, you can choose the language. And in the documentation, it is also stated that it supports several languages, but every single language, even English, is still in preview. So also there you have some limitations. So about this one, I'm not so sure because it is a little bit unclear, even in the learning documentation, but this is something that is actually at the moment. And also some other things. Authorizing, as I said, through external data is not supported in the conversational plugin. and the integration is enabled by default. So now we looked at some different approaches how to integrate external data into Copilot. And you can imagine I was doing that in March. I was clicking myself through and I was watching YouTube videos. I studied the learning documentation. I had such a headache. And when I figured it out, I had instantly an image of a cascade in my mind that explains it very well how you can extend Copilot or your own Copilot with external data without using hard code. Why is that? Because I come from the business. I'm not from a technical corner. So what I do is a lot of project management, change management, as I said before. And this is one thing that I wanted to look as a end user perspective. How can I use these functionalities, these great services? That's a really great idea without the need of coding. And this is what I came out with. So I want to extend my Microsoft 365 Copilot because as soon as I want my own build my own Copilot, I have to use the Copilot Studio license. So I have costs. And I don't want to give the myself that I don't have a really bright budget costs of, I don't know, $100, $250 per month just to use my own Copilot. So this is the way to go. I don't want to build my own Copilot. I want to extend it. Then you have two possibilities. You have the graph connectors and you have the plugins. Graph connectors is through Admin Center and is hard code, so it's not suited for me. So I'm looking at plugins. Plugins, you have three possibilities. You have the OpenAI plugins, you have the Teams message extensions, and you have the Power Platform components. As we know, when we are talking low code, we are talking Power Platform. Of course, we are concentrating on the Power Platform, and there you have the two possibilities with the conversational plugins and the AI plugins. And what I focused on is the conversational plugin. And this was the image that I had after I figured it out, how I can explain it to you or to a business decision maker, for example, how you can leverage external data, how you can integrate external data in order to extend. This is the main goal here. I want to extend Copilot because a lot of customer feedback was, of course, also, hey, it's okay. It's nice that it grounds in M365, but my main sources, there where the money lies, there where I earn money, is in my ERP, is in my business application, and it would be nice to use this AI to in order to get this data there. So how can I do it? And this is the main goal, and that's why I had this cascade in my mind, and I just wanted to share that with you. Now, another thing. I talked earlier about the Power Automate flow that I can't integrate so easily. There is a little loophole because what I found out is that a custom Power Automate flow cannot be published. Added is maybe the wrong word. It is published into the extensibility of M365 Copilot. I tried it out so many times. I saw the flow in my Power Automate user interface. When I want to extend Copilot, I am redirected directly to Power Automate user interface. But the publish button is missing. So the Power Automate flow just flies around somewhere and isn't used for nothing. That's what I found out. And how you can call a flow, you call the flow through this conversational plugin. So through a prompt, or that the user gives in, and you configured the conversation of the prompt, then the action is that the plugin calls the flow. And here is the problem. It is an action. It is in preview. As we said before, the conversation only reacts to text. So you can configure the action. You can publish the Power Automate flow into this specific extension, but it doesn't work yet. Let's see what future holds for us. The plugin must then be published separately. You see it when you think of the Power Virtual Agents. You have the topics, and you see that the plugin is stored as such a topic. It is really complicated. I don't understand why it is like this, but it has to be published separately. And then you can select the plugin in the Copilot Teams chat, which I will share, of course, with you, and then trigger the flow with your prompt when it is not anymore in preview. Now I can set the plugin. I see it in my Teams chat, Copilot chat, but when I do the prompt, it doesn't react because it's in preview and because I think my Copilot is in German. So that's the other part that won't work. That's a limitation. Now, why do I choose to extend the Copilot instead of building my own? Because when you're looking from a developer's perspective, it's much more interesting and you have much more possibilities building your own Copilots in order to optimize your specific use cases, also from the customers. For me personally, it is that I avoid hard code. That's an advantage. Also, what you have included into Copilot Studio is a Dataverse data table. So I don't have to license I don't have to do the premium license of Power Platform. It is based on Power Automate flows. So we are talking low code. We are talking about a technology that is there since, I don't know, 6, 7, 8 years that we know a lot about. And what we also have to, we'll look into the topic of the license. The premium connectors of the Power Platform are included in the M365 Copilot license. So, and there you have it. You have the journey of low code to no cost. And with no cost, I mean you don't have additional licensing cost. Of course, when you don't have a Copilot license, you have nothing to extend. So when we are talking about extension, the premise is that you have Copilot, M365 Copilot license. But in order to extend it with this journey, you don't have additional licensing costs such as AI Builder credits, such as Power Platform Premium license or Power App Premium license, or even a Copilot Studio license. So that's these are the reasons why I dove into this journey. And of course, the big disadvantage, and it's only theoretical, are the current limitations. Yeah, it's what it is, but this is the big disadvantage. And also, when we are looking at the licenses, I don't know how long it will be, because I can imagine when this conversational plugin actions and triggers that you can set are going GA, I fear that these licensing advantages maybe won't be there anymore, because here is a summary of the Copilot Studio license. So we have here the Copilot Studio subscriptions. I see it now, $200 per month. This is like for 200,000 tokens, I think, or 25,000 messages, 200,000 tokens. And the Copilot Studio use rights with Copilot for Microsoft 365. So this means this is the $30 license of the M365 Copilot with the capabilities of Copilot Studio. And I don't want to go through everything of this, because we are not here in a licensing session. I just want to show you out 3 things. The first one is plugins that are only in Copilot for Microsoft 365. So that means those Power Platform components that we talked about, you don't have them in the Copilot Studio license. You only have them in M365 Copilot license included. In order to extend Copilot, when you build your own Copilot, of course, you use the Copilot Studio subscription. That's logical. The second one that I want to show you is, for me, the biggest advantage is that the premium connectors of Power Platform is included in the Copilot Studio license, of course, but also in the normal $30 M365 Copilot license. You can use them. That is so great. And here lies my fear. When the preview goes away, when it turns into general availability, the disadvantage may be gone. I don't know. Nobody knows. But it indicates, because when you are using Copilot Studio, you see on top also, when you are using premium licenses or premium connectors, maybe something will change. And that's also one thing that indicates that there will be some changes as soon as it goes to GA. And the third thing that I also mentioned is the topic of Dataverse. We all know Dataverse in Teams is for free. Is included also for free. It's in the M365, but as soon as you want to do Dataverse in Power Platform, you have to do a Power Apps premium license. And here, Dataverse for Copilot Studio is also included in the M365 Copilot license. So that's also a main advantage of because why I use the extensibility and not building my own Copilot in terms of licensing. Now let's come into the interesting part. I will show you a little demo. I have to excuse myself because it is in German, because my browser is set in German, but I can go through with that. Just have to share my screen again. There you go. Arash. Yes, looks good. I see it. Perfect. Okay. Now we are here in copilotstudio.microsoft.com. So the URL that I showed you before. When you go into the homepage, this is what you see when you open Copilot Studio. So already it tells you build your own Copilot. And you have here some templates and everything. And here you have the possibility to create or extend the Copilot. So here you see new Copilot, and here you can extend the M365 Copilot by doing a new Copilot action. Now, when I click here, you see those 4 plugins. So you see the premium connector, so the custom connector. You see that you can do it in natural language. You can build the flow. So me, myself, I was doing there and said, oh, I can build here directly a Power Automate flow and publish it. That doesn't work. I just found that I find that so strange. I don't know why. And this one, auf Unterhaltung bezogen in German, means conversational plugin. So, and that's what I found out, that when I want to do it, I click on here, and I won't do it live because I have it already prepared, but here is what confused me. You can change the language. So we saw in the documentation before that the preview was limited to English-speaking languages only, English-speaking Copilots only. And here I can change the language. So I don't know what happened here, if it is still in preview, if it doesn't work, but I can choose now the language of what my extensibility should be. I can add a symbol, I can give some picture into it, whatever. So I go away because what I did here, and this is also what I think a little bit is confusing. I have my library. Bibliothek means library. I have here all the templates provided by Microsoft. And I've got here my little testing things that you see. So you see what I tried to do. I have, my point was I wanted to use Trello as a project management tool. And I wanted to integrate Trello into the M365 Copilot. So I wanted that the Copilot grounds into the data of Trello. And you saw that I tried several things. So this is the connector that you build, or that is there. So it can be a custom connector, but of course Trello, there is a standard connector that is premium because it's external. And as soon as I want to trigger that one, it tells me, hey, you need AI builder credits, because it is going into a AI solution, which Copilot is. So that's why it is not ready, because I don't want to buy some AI builder credits. I don't have a big, hefty budget. The second one that I tried is this Power Automate. So when you remember the 4 plugins, you can make a flow. I built my flow, of course. It is on Dataverse. It is ready, but it's nowhere. It's nowhere to be seen. And this is the conversational plugin that I did. So I wanted to do, and you see, auf Unterhaltung bezogen, conversational plugin. I go here, and what you see is the user interface that is familiar with the Power Virtual Agent. So has a little bit of time. It's only a matter of hours in our all experience, right? Everybody knows this. So come on. Let's try it again. Yeah. Okay. Now, so you see here, this is a thing that has that was inherited from Power Virtual Agent. This is the topic. So it looks like a topic. You have here the topics, and you can work on these topics. Okay. But when I want to work on this topic, here you have the interface that you know from Power Virtual Agent. You have the trigger that is standardized here. So you have to describe what this extension should do. And you see Vorschau-Version, this means preview. So also the trigger is in preview. So, okay. And now what I did is the actions. So when you click here, you see a bunch of possibilities that you have. You can go through variables, you can do a decision tree, you can add some more topics, and you can do the action. This is the action. And here's the flow. And that's how I found out that here I have to do a flow in order to publish it. So flow erstellen means create a flow. And that's what I did here exactly. This is the flow. The neue Trello-Card erstellen means create a new Trello card. I've got the text string. I've got the response string. And here you have the Power Automate flow. You are here in Power Automate. And what you see is you can edit it. And then you have the publish button. Veröffentlichen means publish. This is all that I want to show you. This is how I had the possibility to publish this specific flow. Now, when we go back to the possibility of doing a plugin directly through a flow, and this is what I went crazy. I really went crazy. So I want to create a Copilot extension. So I do a new Copilot extension. I want to do a flow, right? So this is logical. I come into Power Automate. It redirects me directly to Power Automate. And now I can do, you have the standards, but you don't see the publish button. Even when I do an action, even when I said, okay, I want to do the Trello, something, card erstellen, create the card. I have already the card ready because I'm registered in it. I say where I want to have it. I don't know, test 2. Yeah, and this is okay. This should fit, and I have the flow, right? So something really easy, nothing crazy. But I just can save it. It is saved in my Power Automate environment, but there's nowhere to be published. So this is something that I went crazy about, that I didn't understand why you can do a Power Automate flow, but then not publish. And what I found out is that this specific flow is designed to publish it in your own Copilot. It is not designed to publish it as an extension of the M365 Copilot. So you can understand my craziness when I went there and said, oh my God, what happened here? I'm happy that I found this, let's call it loophole with this conversational plugin. With this one, auf Unterhaltung bezogen, you have to call it, I do it, neue Karte erstellen. Just to say it, I say the German, okay, and you have here then the same user interface with the Power Virtual Agent. You can trigger the flow through the Power Automate through this conversational plugin. And it's a shame that it's in preview because it has so much advantages. You've seen the possibilities that you have, the actions that you can configure through this interface or through this conversational plugin. It has really great possibilities, but you can't leverage them because they are in preview. And that's what I want to show you here in Teams, as long as this one is working. see that I am in the right. I think I'm in the wrong. Here I have to go. So I have here my Copilot chat, and here you have the plugins. And that's what I told you before, when you remember in the slide, that you can activate the plugin. It is here, this Neue Trello card. You see the Copilot Studio icon. You see also the Power Automate flow that I created that just lives here but doesn't work. So here I have my Copilot Studio plugin. I can activate it. I can do my prompt, but it doesn't work because it tells me I don't have the information required, because it doesn't speak English, because the actions are in preview. You can only build the agent with conversations. So you have to put everything there. You have to use natural language in order to train the bot, just as it is a bot, like earlier, like before in the Power Virtual Agent. That's the main point. Yeah, that's from my side of the demo. Now, what I do have for you is some or are some use cases, of course, that you can maybe leverage in the future. I've got here again my presentation. Arash, your turn.
Yes. So you have some use case or?
Yes, use case. It's just one slide.
Okay, I'm seeing it here. Okay,
Yeah,
go ahead.
okay. Perfect. Okay. So these are just some examples that I want to share with you on how you could optimize processes and integrate external data. Just some high-level things. So we have, for example, a use case with Salesforce. You integrate Salesforce and you say to Copilot, you prompt it in, hey, update the deal stage of the opportunity from customer XYZ to solution design. So you don't go into Salesforce, you click it, you tell Copilot it should do it. That's the use case. Another one could be with Microsoft Lists or SharePoint Lists. This is some very important piece of information. SharePoint Lists are not standardized, grounded into the Microsoft Graph, and not grounded from the semantic index of Copilot. So you have to build the extension of the Microsoft Lists that Copilot grounds in it. So you can say, add another entry with the metadata 123 to the SharePoint list XY, for example. So this is something that you can do. You can manage from Copilot contents of SharePoint lists. You have ServiceNow, for example. You can change employee information. You don't have to go to ServiceNow. You can tell Copilot, add another entry, ABC, or change the metadata. I see that's the same text. The text would be change the address of employee ABC, or add a new employee because we are onboarding him. So you don't have to go to ServiceNow. You do it through Copilot. Also, Jira, IT, ticketing system, service desk, really big use case for a lot of people. You can use Copilot to manage your tickets. You can list all the open tickets. You can change the status of the ticket. You can close it. You can ask Copilot also to help you resolving the problem in this ticket. And then also, and another one, the last one, also really, really high level, just some examples. SAP, ERP system, of course, check stock level, trigger an ordering process when you see that the stock is low, you can trigger that SAP does the order of some new units to refill the stock. So these are possibilities how you can integrate external data from external tools into Copilot directly. Yeah, I'm looking in the chat, so there are not much question or non-question.
Yes, there is no question here. If you have any question, everyone, can you please put it in the chat box so Fabio will answer to your question. So this is your LinkedIn page, yes, right? LinkedIn profile and weblog, right?
Yes, so my email address, my LinkedIn profile, you are free, of course, to follow me. I'm happy to help. Also, reach out to me if you have some questions or some feedback. I'm also really happy to hear some feedback, positive and critical, of course. And here you have also my website where you can see on which events I will attend, where I will be speaking, also which sessions I have, and of course my blog.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Fabio. So it was a great session. So I learned a lot, know something around what's the Copilot and what's the Copilot Studio, how we can leverage the Copilot in the Power Platform. So it was a great, breakdown that you show in a one picture, that how you can extend your Copilot using uh, the extensibility feature like the plugin and other things. So it was great, and your focus was around the limitation, and also actually in the different language. So hopefully it's figured out by Microsoft, and in the future and the upcoming release and the upcoming, because I know that they are busy, pretty busy, with sorting
Absolutely.
out something,
Mhm.
uh, around the Copilot, and because it's 1 year that it's released and introduced by Microsoft, so it's required more time to be completed, in the different part of the, and also the different feature and capabilities like the
Mhm.
language translation, then and the language conversion, something like that. So yeah, thank you so much. It was great session. I learned a lot from you, and hopefully everyone you get uh, more insight, from the, and learn a lot from the Fabio session today. And hopefully we see you again in our future events, Fabio. It was great that we have you in our today's session. Anything else that you want to say, or anything? No.
No, also from my side, thank you very much. It's just maybe just one thing about those hard code possibilities. So
Yeah.
there you don't have you don't have much in preview. So there's
Mhm.
very many things are available. There is many great content out from other MVPs in the Power Platform area, in the Copilot Studio area, of course. On how you can integrate external data through these other ways. So I just wanted to show you from a non-technical view how you
Yeah.
can do it. But this is also something that I want to stress out. So
Yeah.
not that maybe we get a wrong image about Copilot Studio.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, everyone. Have a great weekend, and see you on next Saturday with another session. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Goodbye.